Hello, everybody. Welcome to your very favorite Bronze Age comic book podcast, Flea Market Fantasy. I'm your co-host, Mike Howell, and as always, I'm joined by
Michael DELL of the LCS Hockey Radio Show.
That is right. And this week it is my pick.
I've never gotten it wrong yet.
Never! 84 weeks. Yeah, it's amazing.
Never gotten it wrong.
So this week it's my pick. We're going to be reviewing another classic Silver Age DC superhero in the form of Hawkman from Shadow War of Hawkman, number 1.
The Shadow War of Hawkman, number 1. Yeah.
All right, go ahead with all your notes. Okay.
All right, Hawkman. I like the old characters, and he was an old character from the Silver Age. But this one we're reading today, different character, kind of.
Yes, they rebooted him in, 59, 60, I think? 61?
When I was doing my research, Michael, I read that Hawkman is considered one of the most confusing backstories in the history of DC Comics, and that's saying something. Because I guess they just keep changing it. Even since post-crisis, even since the crisis, they've changed it again. So
yes, he's number 1. He's absolutely number 1. Yeah.
So all right, so we'll do our best to try and give people an idea of who Hawkman is. This was a 4-issue limited series that came out in 1985, and then it ran into 86, I guess. Or they had a Hawkman. There's a 4-issue limited series, and then they came back in 86 and did an epilogue, the Hawkman Special right? number 1.
Right.
And then it was so hugely successful that it got its own series, Hawkman Volume 2, that started in 86, and that ran for 17 issues.
Woo!
So, there you go.
Yep.
17 issues. All right, so let's talk about Hawkman. All right, so the first Hawkman, Michael, the original Hawkman, was a fella named Carter Hall, and he was an archaeologist. And he made his first appearance in Flash Comics number 1 in 1940. Mm-hmm. And he was created by Gardner Fox and Dennis Neville. And he was the reincarnation of an ancient Egyptian prince named Khufu.
That's right.
Khufu. Now, why did he wear wings? Like, if he was an Egyptian, was there some connection? Like, Khufu was like a bird symbol or something? Or
well, I don't know for sure, but aren't there Egyptian gods that are a mixture of,
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. But, well, he was a prince, like a human prince.
Yes.
But, they take symbols or what, I don't know. But anyway, so he started wearing wings, and he also discovered something called ninth metal, which was later shortened to just NTH, nth.
Nth. I think it's nth, right?
Yeah, I know. So, and it had anti-gravity properties. So he wore like a belt of that metal, and it made him fly. And then he used the wings to steer himself around. Mm-hmm. And he was Hawkman.
Yeah.
Hawkman. And he was one of the founding members of the Justice Society of America. And I'm a big fan of the Justice Society of America.
Woo, me too.
I like them. So I'm cool with that. He served as their chairman, Michael.
That's right.
He was the guy. He was the one in charge. Hawkman. Would you put the guy in wings in charge of the whole show? I probably wouldn't.
No, but I would put the guy with bare chest in charge, for sure.
Well, that's a little more than I need to know about you, Michael. But all right, fair enough. What else about Justice Society? He was the only member to appear in all GSA stories during the Golden Era. How about that?
That is correct. Yep, that is correct.
And his last appearance during this run was All-Star Comics 57 in 1951, because that's when all the superheroes went out of fashion. They all kind of got pushed to the side.
Right.
Then what came in, the Westerns and the horror comics?
Yeah, and Western horror, romance.
Yeah. And then who brought him back? DC and the Flash, right?
That's right.
All right.
Always DC leading the way, Mike DELL.
But so that's the Silver Age Hawkman. Now, he also, that Silver Age Hawkman also used like a mace as a weapon, right? Because he used all these antique weapons from the museum that he worked at. That was his gimmick.
Right.
So, and also at that same time, we also had the first hot girl.
Yes.
And her name was Shiera Sanders. Mm-hmm. And she also made her first appearance in Flash Comics 1940. Because I guess this Carter Hall fella, he had a dream that he was an Egyptian prince or whatever. And then he realized, oh, I'm the reincarnated spirit of him. But in that dream, he met an Egyptian princess named Shiera. And then the next day, he met Shiera Sanders. And it was the same woman from his dreams. So immediately they started dating. So that's a meet cute, they call it in the film industry.
Really? I think I've heard this term.
Yeah. But anyway, so she became Hawk Girl in All-Star Comics number 5 in 1941. That was the first time she put on her own little costume. Cool. And it's like the same as his, except she's not bare-chested, which I think that's a missed opportunity.
You're right.
So that was the Silver Age Hawk Girl. And now, like you mentioned, the superheroes went out of fashion.
That was the golden age. That was the golden age.
Oh,
right?
yeah, golden age. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm mixing up my ages. So then the superheroes went out of fashion, but then the Hawkman, they came back in what was it, the 60s, 61ish or so?
I think like 60, 61. Yep.
Yeah, I think I would have wrote this down. Oh yeah, the Brave and the Bold, issue 34, 1961.
There you go.
And so Hawkman kind of got a little reboot, and Gardner Fox was still the creator as a writing standpoint, and the artist though was Joe Kubert. And so now instead of Carter Hall the archaeologist, Hawkman is Qatar Hall, Hol, and he's a space monkey. He's an alien. You
know, it's funny. I always called him Cater, but I guess Qatar is more cool sounding.
Oh, I have no idea. Like Cater, Qatar, however you want to say it.
Huh.
It's lame either way. So
no way. Awesome.
So now he's not a human archaeologist, reincarnated spirit of an Egyptian prince. Now he's a law enforcement officer from the planet, Thanagar? Is that what it is?
Thanagar,
yeah. Thanagar. Around that, which orbits the star Polaris. Mm-hmm. And he was respected as like one of the leading law enforcement guys on this planet. And apparently this planet was like mostly peaceful. Like crime wasn't a huge problem in the world. But he was the most respected law enforcement agent they had. And then, so what do? They assign a teenage girl to be his sidekick, his partner in training. And her name is, what was her name back then? I wrote it down.
Shiera Hall?
Well, that was when she got married. Thal, I believe. Thal.
Oh, Shiera Thal. Right.
Yeah. So he started training her, and he was upset. He's like, I don't want to be bringing around this young girl with me. But then he's like, oh, wait a minute. She's kind of foxy. And he became smitten with her. And soon he proposed to her, and they got married.
Nice.
Oh, sweet. So they still served as law enforcement agents as they were married. But then a criminal. Oh, Miguel, do you know who their first case was? They were trying to stop these evil, terrible criminals on this planet. Do you know what their names were?
You mean the Manhawks?
No, I read that the Rainbow Robbers. The Rainbow Robbers.
Oh, okay.
So,
the Rainbow Robbers. All right.
Yes.
I've got that
just
wrong.
so intimidating.
Yeah.
Rainbow Robbers. DC Comics.
I love it. Do you know about the Manhawks, though?
No, I do not.
Oh, you think that it's cool for a man to dress up as a hawk? How about a hawk that dresses up as a man? Okay? Manhawks are these gigantic hawks that have human faces, like, draped over their hawk beaks. Isn't that crazy?
I thought they put on some khakis, a nice pullover.
No, not quite.
Right, so the Manhawks. I'll have to look into them. Qatar Hall and what's her name? Shiera. Yeah, it's spelled different here. It's the original Golden Age was Shiera, Shiera. This Silver Age is Shiera, Shayera. Because I know everyone at home is scoring along with us, so they want to take careful notes. But so they got sent to Earth to capture an escaped convict or an escaped prisoner or just a criminal or something. And you wouldn't happen to know his name, would you?
Biff?
That's amazing. Yeah, you're halfway there.
Yep. All right.
There's an end to it though. Bith.
Oh wait. No, I can't remember.
Bith Rock. R-O-K.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, his first name's Biff. That's what he goes by usually.
Yes. His friends call him Bith.
Right.
Bith Rock. So they come to Earth to capture Bith Rock, and they, I think that's when they meet a police commissioner fella, because they go to the city, Midway City.
Yeah.
Midway City. So what are the big cities in D.C.? You got Gotham, Metropolis, Midway.
Coastal
Central?
City.
Oh, Coastal.
Yeah, Central City is Flash. Coastal City is Green Lantern. I'm trying to think of what else. Midway City, you said, is Hawkman, right?
Yes.
And then I think the Atom is Ivy Town.
Ivy Town.
Yeah, and then I don't think Wonder Woman ever had one. And I don't think Green Arrow had one either, but I could be wrong about that.
I like Ivy Town the best.
Yeah.
So I think they meet a police commissioner fellow named George Emmett. Is that his name? I think so.
I think so, yeah. He's in this one, yeah.
And, well, he's mentioned in this one. I don't know if he's actually in it. But anyway, they become chums with him. So after they take Bith Rock back to their home planet of Thanagar, they return to Earth because they want to research their crime-fighting strategies and schemes. They want to learn all about how to fight crime on Earth. I don't know. So this George Emmett fella sets him up with aliases. So now Qatar Hole is known as Carter Hall.
Right.
And Shayera or whatever is now known as Shayera Hall. Instead of...
Right.
There
No
you
one
go.
will ever put that together, right?
No. And they get jobs at... what the fuck's the name of the city? No, the Midway Center Museum. Midway City Museum. Right. Yeah. So that's how they still use the old weapons and stuff. They're still using those antique weapons. So that's their aliases as in Earth. Nice that they have jobs. They're not just freeloading immigrants from outer space.
Right.
So that's good. What else do we need to know about the Hawkman and Hawk Lady? Oh, well, Hawk Lady or Hawk Girl, she changed her name to Hawk Woman in 1981.
Right. Oh, okay. It was somewhere in there.
Because she said she didn't like what they were, the connotation of girl in American society. I think it was in an issue of Justice League. I think I just read that. Oh, wow, Michael, you sent me a picture of the Manhawks. Yeah, that is frightening.
I know. I told you.
Yeah, just a hawk with a face on it. Yeah, so she changed her name to Hawk Woman. And then, there's something else about her. You know, she wasn't allowed to be in the Justice League of America at first.
Right, because she had duplicate powers of Hawkman.
That is so dumb.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, they apparently had a rule that you couldn't have the same people if you had the same powers as someone else, you couldn't be in. Which is ridiculous. They just didn't want a girl in, right? It's like a dudes only. They're like,
no, but you know what's funny is the Legion of Superheroes had the same rule, and if you think about it, it makes no sense at all. I know, it's dumb.
All right, we have 30 Supermen here, but nope, sorry, we can only take one of you. We can only take one of you.
We already got a guy with nth metal. Come on.
Good Lord. All right, so I think those are all the interesting tidbits I have about Hawkwoman and.
Well, I should also point out she was in the Justice League cartoon of the 2000s.
Yeah, I remember seeing her in there.
Yeah, which was awesome. So yeah,
she was always depicted as like a badass. Like he's always willing to fight.
And there was actually a really cool plot twist where you find out in season, I think it was the end of season 1, that she was actually a spy for Thanagar.
Oh.
Yeah, she turned on the Justice League and helped the Thanagarians capture them all. But then she had a change of heart and helped the Justice League. Yeah, it was really cool. It was really good.
Did they ever explain in those cartoons what happened to Hawk Guy? Hawkman?
No, you know what's funny is at that point Hawkman's continuity was so effed up.
Yeah.
That they didn't want to use Hawkman, so they created another Hawkman with a completely different name, but it was not Carter Hall or Cater Hall or Qatar Hall or anybody. It was a different guy. So. Yeah,
so I guess after Hawkman came back there in his 60s and he was around for a while, and I guess they were in the Justice League of America and doing stuff, but then the Justice League moved to Detroit. Is that what happened?
Yes, Justice League Detroit. You got that right. Right across, that's 25 feet away from where I live. Yeah.
So Hawkman didn't want to relocate, so I guess he wasn't in the book anymore. He's like, yeah, I hate the Red Wings. I'm not going there. So he wasn't in the books too often. He wasn't making appearances. So that's when this miniseries came into play. Because do you know whose idea this was to bring the Shadow War of Hawkman?
I'm going to assume it was Tony Isabella.
Yeah, Tony Isabella plotted it all, but the idea to bring Hawkman back as a character was Dick Giordano.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said it was time.
Okay.
So I guess a bunch of writers pitched ideas to how to bring Hawkman back, and Tony Isabella's idea won.
Nice.
And basically, Isabella, he's the writer here. He wrote all 4 issues. The artist is Richard Howe, and he drew all 4 issues. We'll talk about them later. But I guess Isabella's pitch was he would make these long-lasting changes to Hawkman, and it'd be more like a mystery suspense kind of a story. Cool. And kind of hearkening back to the old Golden Age Hawkman or Silver. I don't know. Who knows anymore?
Nice.
So that's how he became the writer here. And what else about this? I don't know. That's about it. Hawkman. It's a dude with wings.
You know when you're arguing with people, well, I know you don't argue with people on Facebook, but I do all the time. Someone accidentally, like, you know when you tag someone and then you, like, respond directly to them? Well, they did that. Someone did that to me and basically quoted me and, like, called me an asshole and all this stuff. It was Richard Howell. But to be fair, he tagged me, but he wasn't quoting me, so I think he mistook me for someone else.
That's pretty awesome, though. I have all new respect for Richard Howell now that he called you an asshole. I'm like, all right.
I'm honored. I felt honored. Let me tell you.
Like, what? Do you remember the bone of contention? Was it just someone making fun of Hawkman? Or?
I don't remember. It was some comic book argument. I don't know what it was, though, to be honest.
All right. Well, whatever you do, don't let Richard Howe hear this episode, because he'll be calling me an asshole at some point.
That's right.
All right. So, so the series, like we said, in 85, and I don't know. When was Crisis?
So Crisis was 86, so this was during Crisis, basically, this run.
Oh, by the way.
It gets confusing. Yeah.
Another thing I read was Hawkman was almost the hero that died in Crisis, because they killed off Supergirl and then Flash, right? Wasn't Flash the other guy? So I guess instead of Flash, it was going to be Hawkman, and then they said nope. I guess the editor said no, it's going to be Hawkman.
Can't kill Hawkman.
Yeah, he's too valuable. Too valuable. So, all right, I guess let's look at this issue.
Sure. Let's talk about, we got to talk about the characters, right? We got to talk about the costumes, right?
Oh, well, yeah, we look at the cover. They're prominently displayed, so you can break it down.
So we got this is classic DC Bullet 4-part mini-series, not limited series. Isabella, Howell, and Alcala. Shadow War of Hawkman, 75 cents, 95 cents in Canada.
Yeah, fuck you, Canada.
We got and then first shattering issue, and we've got this awesome shot of Hawkman and Hawkwoman flying over Midway City, whatever this is. And it's awesome.
Yeah, they're up in the air. Hawkman's dead center, up and down vertical. Hawkwoman is like beneath him and tilted sideways. And Hawkwoman looks great here. I think she looks great. Hawkman, hey, Dick Howe, you might want to take another swing at that left leg. That's all I'm saying. But it is too stubby. Too stubby.
Too stubby? Maybe.
Yeah, it's another swing. So, but it's a good cover. If I looked at the cover, I'd be like, oh, well, this looks pretty cool.
It's really good composition. Like the way that they're positioned, they don't overlap each other in the wrong way. That's like a nice design, you know.
Yeah, like the horizon line is also slanted in the bottom corner.
Right.
Yep. So that's huge.
And you notice her wings are kind of like behind him in a certain way, and her legs cross behind his legs, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
If I only had an adult male left leg, it would be a tremendous thing. But Michael, look at the corner of the box down in the bottom left. DC, where legends live.
Right. One of the many taglines that they were trying out at this time.
DC, where legends live.
Do you
Now, I
remember
guess
the
the
other
premise
one?
of this whole series, the Shadow War of Hawkman, is that their home planet, what is it, Thanagar, we mentioned it
Yes.
used to be kind of like peaceful and stuff. Well, once Hawkman and Hawk Lady left there, the planet became more warlike and started conquering
Yes.
other planets. So now the Thanagar people are coming to Earth to take over Earth, and Hawkman is the only one who knows it. He's fighting this
Right.
Shadow War against his former planet. Yeah.
Right.
So that's the idea.
Very cool.
Did
Great
you
idea.
describe their costumes?
Not yet. Nope. But I will right
Okay.
now. So we've got okay. So we've got a hawk sort of face, like over top of a human face. That's his mask, with like eye holes and like a beak. But then this is where it gets kind of weird. And I know that people accept this because it's it's classic. But besides the hawk, face, he has hawk wings attached to that face. And if you
Yeah.
really think about it, it's kind of weird. But again, people are just used to it, so they're okay with it. I think it's kind of weird.
It looks good, but yeah, when you really think about it, why would he have wings on his face as well as wings
Right.
on his back? It is weird. I agree
Right.
with that. Now, for a while there, didn't Kubert like redo it so it was just like a normal cow without the wings?
Right, exactly. And then there was also a time where he just had like a regular superhero cowl with like there was no beak, there was no feathers, it was just a yellow cowl pulled over his face.
Yeah.
So there's many different versions, yeah. So anyway.
Even though it's weird, I think I kind of like the wings on the head. It's a distinctive look,
Yeah, it's definitely distinctive. I'll give you that. It's classic.
Yeah.
And anyway, okay, so he has these gigantic gray wings. I'm gonna leave the best
Michael,
for
real
last.
quick about the mask and stuff, because for a while, like I think in the Silver Age, they were drawing them a little differently, or even like an ad for this miniseries I saw, they had the head dress different. Like it would sit on his head, and like the eyes of the hawk weren't his eye holes; they were eyes. And then like his eyes, he would like somehow stare beneath the beak, like.
Yep. Like,
Like
I've seen that too. Yep.
That is not so good. I don't like that. I don't.
That was totally bizarre. Yep.
Yeah.
I think John Byrne drew him that way as well when Hawkman appeared in Action Comics. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, that was just strange. Like the visibility there would be non-existent. I don't know how he could do it.
Right.
But anyway, all right. Yeah. So get back to the rest of it.
So then again, starting at the bottom, we've got red boots with like a yellow kind of like a T stripe on at the front of the boots.
Yeah, like but at the toes, like imagine a yellow vertical line up the shin to the toes, and then at the bottom towards the toes, there's a horizontal yellow stripe as well. So almost like an upside down cross on the boot.
Right. And then we've got matching like underwear. But then here's the here's the thing. Hawkman has a cool costume, but there's a huge problem with the color scheme because he's got an orange and yellow mask, yellow X stripes on his chest, yellow and red boots, yellow and red underwear, but then green pants. It just looks really ugly and it doesn't match the rest of his costume. So I really wish his pants were like orange, just to make it kind of give it a pattern, but whatever. But here's the thing, though, is I haven't even reached the best part of his costume. He's got a big X on his chest with a little, like, Thundercat symbol or Hawkman symbol.
Yeah.
But
like
he
it's a
doesn't have
harness. It's like a harness.
It's a harness.
Like the wings connect
holding
to the
his
back
wings.
of it. Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. He has no shirt on. He's bare-chested.
Yeah, that's right.
It is pretty ridiculous, And the thing about, the four big DC superheroes that were revamped in the 60s or 50s is that Flash, Green Lantern, and Atom were all given completely different costumes, right? Hawkman is the only one that basically kept his exactly the same. I think that was a mistake. Yeah. I think about these things at night, okay?
Yeah.
To keep me up.
And we should mention his wings are gray. And
Yes, they're great.
they're made of like the same nth metal, I guess.
Nth, isn't it nth? I think it's N.
Whatever. Whatever you want to say. But Michael, last week on the LCS Hockey Radio Show, we discussed the movie Barbarella from 1968.
Which I've never seen.
Yeah, Jane Fonda. It's tremendous. But in that film, there's a winged angel fella. And when they did the production for the movie, they originally were going to make his wings pure white. And the production designer guy said, no, make them gray, because he wanted him to look more like Hawkman.
Really?
Yep. How about that?
Wait, you know what's funny is I can't even believe that you didn't come across this in your research, but did you know that Hawkman's costume was completely ripped off of a character in Flash Gordon?
Oh, characters? Yeah, I was going to say, Barbarella, the same people kind of did Flash Gordon, and so a lot of the same special effects were used and same costumes. So, yeah, they had a winged guy, so then they used winged guys. And
right.
Yeah, so it's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
But Hawk Lady here, her costume, bare-chested as well. Spectacular. No. She wears like a yellow, like halter top kind of thing.
Right.
But otherwise, the costume's exactly the same. And she also has two big clunky earrings.
That's true.
Seems.
And her mask
odd.
is totally different.
It's more stylized. Yeah, it's kind of, I guess, more feminine, you would say.
Well, it's actually kind of almost like Wolverine's, like completely exaggerated Wolverine mask, but
in a way,
wings.
Yeah. But she doesn't have like the really defined wings sticking off the side of her head. It's more like her. Whatever. Who cares?
No, it's like let's give Hawkman and Hawkwoman some respect here. It's kind of like Wolverine, but the top is orange and the bottom is black, but then the little pointy parts that's on her face are still yellow. So yeah.
And like the extensions of the eyes or whatever, they really get elongated, like much longer than Wolverine's, I would say. You know.
Yeah.
But.
There you go. First shattering issue, and it's Richard Howell and Dick Giordano.
Yeah, they did the cover there. I love me some Dick Giordano as an anchor. So, all right, Michael, let's get into this amazing story.
Yes, Tony Isabella narrating. Okay, so we got an opening scene. Oh, this is great. Like a stormy night in the city, all this rain and lightning, and this guy is coming home, walking through this alley, and we got this narration. The first battle and the invasion of Earth will be fought in the shadows. And then we see Mousy Mason is a cat burglar. Despite a certain aptitude for that line of work, his career has been spectacularly unsuccessful. And then it goes from there that, this guy is coming home to his apartment, and then when he gets into his apartment, he's...
Hey, but Michael, let me point out one thing from that first page. The final panel on the first, or is it the final, or the final panel in the middle row of 4. You see those eyes and the shadows underneath the staircase. Well, that same like gimmick was used in the advertisement for the series that ran in Comic Buyer's Guide. Like it's Hawkman standing in the foreground, and then the background's just all shaded with just eyes, exactly like that everywhere. So,
ooh, it's the Shadow War, right?
Yep, Shadow War. So those eyes under the steps, they represent the Thanagar people that we see in a minute. But
very cool. So yeah, this guy goes home and he's like, Wolfie, and it turns out Wolfie is the name of his cat. So he's chatting up with his cat, and this is where we can get some exposition, right? Like we always talk about.
Yeah, we get lots of exposition.
Yep. Yeah. He basically explains that he's like, don't you know I could be arrested for possession of criminal tools, you furry little gonif? I don't even know what a gonif is.
I don't know what that means either.
He's like, that's how Commissioner Emmett's boys got me the last time. So there's the mention of Commissioner Emmett. And then basically these guys just show up. I actually thought they kind of looked like Madrox the Multiple Man for a second.
That's exactly what I thought as well. Yep.
Yeah. But they just show up in his kitchen. He's like, what in the... He's like, gah! And the cat's like, hiss. So basically, these guys threaten him and basically say, okay, we need your services. We know you're a thief, so you got to help us out.
But, all right. And this is where the story loses all logic. And because this fella...
Page 2.
We spend the first page and a half narrating of how this guy's a terrible cat burglar. He's a complete failure as a cat burglar. He has no money. He's broken. He can't do anything. Yet these people from another planet obviously who have amazing technology and skills. They find this guy and ask him to steal something for them.
That's right.
It makes no sense.
I think it does. But anyway.
like I get if like he's some renowned cat burglar, but we just spent 2 pages hearing how he's terrible at what he does and he's a failure. Oh, let's get that guy. Let's get that guy to help us.
He won't draw attention to himself. You see, that's the key.
Yeah, and he won't succeed in what they're trying to do either. Yeah. But these guys are from Thanagar, and they want to get Hawkman and Hawk Lady's anti-gravity belts.
Right.
And that's what they use to fly. So somehow these guys know what their secret identities are, and they know that they live with George Emmett, the police commissioner. They live at his old house, or I don't know if he's still there, or I don't know what's going on.
Right.
But so they know all that, yet they can't find these anti-gravity belts. They need this Mousy Monroe or whatever the hell his name is to do it for them.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
And then they scare him by disintegrating his like couch and table.
Yes. Yes. His furniture. Yeah.
Right. And then it says What's that?
Well, the implication is we'll do the same to you, you know?
Right. And then it's like, then the narration's like, the castle has been breached. Its master reduced to the merest of pawns, and a malignant game. The invasion has begun.
It's so stupid. Awesome. I'm sorry. It's just dumb. Like, why would you? It makes no sense. But all right, go ahead.
Then the next page, we got a splash page of Hawkman and Hawkwoman fighting some bad guys.
Yeah, and they're coming down out of the sky, a night sky with the moon behind them. But how do you feel about Hawk Girl there having her, or Hawkwoman having her head down, and you don't even see her face? It's just the top of her head. It's strange.
It's a little bit awkward. Yeah, it's a little bit awkward.
Let's just see her face a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Not that hard.
Yeah. And so, they've just basically, this woman has just been mugged, and she's like, that's, wait, so the Hawkman and Hawkwoman are coming down, attacking these goons, and there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and one of the guys is like, we've been spotted, and they're shooting guns at them, and then in the background you see the woman that they just mugged, and she's like, that's just for openers, punk, get him, Hawks. Yeah. And then one of the other guys is like, cripes, the old lady was a decoy, waste her too. And so basically they don't waste her. The Hawkman and Hawkwoman beat them all up, take away their guns, and that's pretty much it. They throw one guy into a trash can, they tie them up. It's kind of just a day on the job for Hawkman and Hawkwoman, right?
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And then, way to go, people! And then, sure enough, it's Captain Fraser.
Yeah.
And he kind of just congratulates them and thanks them.
But Captain Fraser's pretty awesome. He's a African American fella, and he's wearing a yellow turtleneck and a brown. I don't know if it's a leather jacket or just a brown suit coat, but a yellow turtleneck. That's what you want your captain to be wearing when you're serving on the law enforcement. Yeah. Yep,
this is great. Commissioner Emmett told me that you two would be a big help to me. He wasn't lying. We're happy to be of service, Captain. Call on us anytime. This is great stuff. I love it. So then they fly away, and then it's page 8. So by page 9... we are back into exposition.
Yeah, this is pretty unforgivable.
A gigantic exposition dump. Now,
we've talked about this before with other, especially in limited series. You have to give readers the history of the characters in case they're new, and you want but there's a way to do exposition and there's a way not to do it, and this is how you don't do it, because the two characters are just talking to each other about things they already know. You want to make sure you have a third character there who's learning this with the readers. It's like if me and Mike L were talking, I go, hey, Mike L, remember when we came to Earth and we started that podcast, Flea Market Fantasy, and we did 84 episodes of it, and I'd say half the episodes were good. Yeah. And then the other half not so good. And then, but that's not how you would talk. So we just get Hawkman talking to Hawkwoman for a couple pages about their history and everything. It's just terrible, but yeah.
Say, how many years have I known you now, Mike Dell? That's bad exposition. Anyway. So to summarize what's happening, Hawkman explains to his wife, who already knows this, about Thanagar.
And he married her. Remember when he married your wife?
Yeah. About the city, and then his father, Parent Cater, and then let's see here. Oh yeah, So then Hawkman was a young man when he was the most decorated officer on the Thanagar police force. And then Hawkwoman was sent as a rookie policewoman to assist him on a case. And then soon after, he asked her to marry him. And we see this is all done in pictures too, so it's kind of nice. It's actually, we'll talk about the art later, but it's great. Then we see them flying in a rocket to Earth. And then he's like, remember when we first used the Absorbiscon to learn all earthly knowledge? As we quote, read the electronic impulses we picked up from human minds, we were amazed at how odd their languages and customs were. This is pretty awesome stuff. And so, as we said earlier, they chased down Biff. Just Biff, one word, like
they don't
Hammer,
say Biff Rock?
Or Madonna.
Biff?
Nope, just Biff.
Huh.
And then they also talk about how they met Commissioner Emmett. They got their jobs at the Midway City Museum. They fight this big monster. Or is that Biff? No, I think it's just a monster.
Yeah.
Anyway. So no, this is actually something I didn't know. We find it on the next page. This is really weird.
This is ripped right from the headlines from 2021.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read it, Michael.
It's because we were on Earth that we escaped the equalizing plague, which left every man, woman, and child on Thanagar exactly equal in intelligence and ability, halting progress and leaving our people a race of nigh identical drones. When the alien dictator Hyathus offered a cure for that cursed disease, the Thanagarians were eager to give her absolute rule. Huh?
Yeah. Just put Bill Gates in for Hyathus. Yeah.
Would to give her absolute rule over them and even an imperfect return to the life they once had known. She wasted no time preparing our planet for interstellar warfare, something we only narrowly averted with the aid of our friends from the Justice League. I did not know about this story. Very bizarre.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's pretty crazy.
So then they cut back to the present and they're talking about how, why do we do it? This is an old argument. I don't see anything wrong in using our advanced science for good. Oh, yeah, because they're debating whether or not to use the Absorbiscon to learn where the gang is, but they have to read people's minds, and that's an invasion of privacy, and they're kind of debating about that. And then it just cuts over to this is where they work, right? And
yes.
This is their boss, Mavis Trent.
She's not their boss, I don't think. I think she's just another co-worker there.
Right.
From what I read, because she also dates back to 61 in that Brave and the Bold issue 34. This is an old Silver Age character here. Mavis Trent is her name, and she's got the hots for Carter Hall. She wants to make sweet love to Carter Hall, even though he's a married man. And
it's funny because this guy is also secretly in love with Mavis Trent, and he's trying to kind of flirt with her. But then,
Is he though? I think he's just like taunting her. I don't know if he's in love with her.
I think he's hitting on her. And then basically he's like, let's see, he's like, I just think you might have an easier time if you stop making plays for guys who are already spoken for. So I think he's trying to get her, to stop thinking about Hawkman and start thinking about him.
Yeah.
So he's like, I guess that's why your husband's divorced. You with smiles on their faces. Talk about your indescribable bliss. You louse. And she's like, I don't know why I even bother wasting my breath on a man who wears his mediocrity like an old school tie. And he's like, no real mystery there, lady. I'm always here. And then in his thought bubble, damn. So
yeah, so clearly he was hoping to make sweet love to Mavis Trent, but he was a little too aggressive.
Right. And then speaking of that, we cut to a scene where I can only assume that the Hawks were just making sweet love because they're getting dressed, right?
Well, I think they're getting dressed from taking their Hawk outfits off, but
oh, there you go. I thought maybe it was something else. Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
So basically, they start joking around about the fact that Mavis Trent likes Hawkman, and she's like, "Oh, come on, no big deal." Blah blah blah. They start joking around, then they start making out, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, his shirt is already half off, so you might as well,
Yeah. And, she's real happy. She's real happy. I'm just happy, she says.
and then look at this next page. Do you see a shot of her with just her bra? Some racy stuff here.
Yeah. Woo. Because there's a siren going off at their house. Someone broke into their house. A secret siren. And I guess they have a little hawk statue that vibrates when there's someone at the house. I don't know. So she starts to get undressed to get into her Hawk lady outfits. And he's like, oh, no, I'll go. My shirt's still half open, so let me just take my pants off now. And they just start getting naked. And yeah, look at that.
So anyway, so Carter Hawkman takes off. And he goes to investigate. And then when he gets there, he comes across our buddy. What's his name? Mousy.
Mousy. Yeah.
Mousy. So right away, he starts kind of like, not roughing him up, but kind of grabbing him by the shirt, being like, okay, what's going on? I know your deal. I know you're a thief. And he's like, you got to protect me from them. Who? And it turns out that what are these guys called again? They're just Thanagarians?
Yeah, just Thanagarians.
Yeah, these bad guys are in the house. And so they attack Hawkman, and he's fighting back, and Mousy isn't really doing much of anything. So I guess he was just there to draw them. No, I don't even know why he was there. You're right.
He was there to find their anti-gravity belts. Again, this makes no sense.
Okay.
Because there's so many more of these people, right? And they all from another planet. They have all this technology. There's at least 6 of them. You're telling me they can't take that house apart and find the anti-gravity belts, but Mousy, this failed cat burglar, this is the guy we need to help us. He'll find them. It makes no sense. So then Hawkman shows up. Now, they have to know that Hawkman uses the anti-gravity belt to fly, correct? They have to know that. So why are they not just trying to take the belt off him right now?
I don't really know. I have no explanation.
Because during the fight, Hawkman's giving it to him pretty good. Then Mousy tries to get involved. He gets a table leg and smashes one of the dudes over the head with it. But Hawkman's like, Mousy, get out of there. You can't beat these guys up. So Mousy charges at another one of them. And this guy gets his laser hand or whatever. And he shoots him with the disintegration beam out of the palm of his hand and just kills Mousy.
Right.
Just
yeah,
totally
and
kills him.
It's a cool design because basically it's like a black, cinder black ash pattern, but with the white outline of the person who's been disintegrated, on the wall. So
against the wall.
He's like, no, by all that's holy, you treacherous cur, you'll pay for that man's death. By Polaris, how you'll pay. So,
Michael, the real tragedy here, Michael. Forget about Mousy. He's a creep. But the real tragedy here, Wolfie.
That's true.
The
Wolfie's
cat.
Gone too?
Well, Wolfie's at home by himself. His owner's just been incinerated. So now Wolfie starves to death, lonely and afraid. Lonely and afraid.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks, Hawkman. You creep.
So Hawkman is pissed, so he's trying to fight these guys. And what is this thing here?
They throw down some sonic thing that emits a high screech, because all the Hawk people, their eyesight and hearing are all super acute and enhanced.
Right.
So this screeching noise really hurts them. And but here's what I mean: they have him on the ropes, they have him overpowered. He's on his hands and knees crying. Just now's your chance. Get that anti-gravity belt. It's right there. It's right there. But instead, they just leave.
Yeah. He's like, they wanted my anti-gravity belt. He's like, wait, Sierra. So he flies up. He goes back to the museum, and then when he lands, what's his name is there? He's like, oh, actually, who is this guy? I don't even know who this is. But anyway.
Tracy is his name. He's another guy that works for the museum. He's the guy that was hitting on Mavis Trent earlier.
That's right. Yeah. They came out of the freaking walls. Nobody could have stopped them. Where, Tracy? The new exhibit. Hawkman, wait. Hold it, Hawkman. It's me, Fraser. Please don't go in there. I've got to. Then we see the big cliffhanger. We see the big charred black against the wall and the white outline of Hawkwoman, who's been disintegrated. Yeah. Like, Shira. The end. Next, Fallen Angels.
Yeah, it's a good cliffhanger. Now, do you know how this turns out?
I read it. I don't remember, but obviously she's still alive.
Yeah, it turns out that our buddy Mavis Trent just found Hawkwoman's Hawkwoman costume at the museum and tried it on. And when those guys showed up, they incinerated Mavis Trent and not Hawkwoman.
Oh, so she's been there since the Silver Age, and now she's dead.
Yep, this was her last appearance ever. Dead.
Wow. Good twist.
Yeah. But again, here's where logic, I have problems with this. So the Thanagarians leave Hawkman, even though they could have taken his anti-gravity belt, and they go, hey, let's go to the museum and look for Hawkwoman and her anti-gravity belt. So they teleport over there. Now, by the time Hawkman, he takes off flying to get back to the museum. By the time he gets there, the Thanagarians have killed Mavis Trent, even though they think she's Hawkwoman, and the police have shown up. By the time Hawkman flies from the house, like what kind of a commute does Hawkman have to work every day?
Well, maybe he's just really slow in the air. We didn't say he was supersonic, right?
I get, but it just seems like, come on, Hawkman. You're trying to save your love, and then you're like, I don't know, taking 2 weeks to get there? I don't know. This is all terrible. I don't know.
Oh, I love it. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, it's talk. Tony Isabella.
Yeah, Tony Isabella. Now, I love Tony Isabella for one reason only. He created Black Lightning. So
Yes. I'm
a big fan of the Black Lightning. But Tony Isabella was born in 1951 in Cleveland, Ohio. Oh, that's unfortunate. Cleveland, Ohio. He had several letters published in Marvel books as a kid, fan letters, and he was very active in the fanzine community. And who else got their job in comics from being in fanzines and whatnot? Roy Thomas.
That's right.
So Roy the Boy Thomas noticed Tony Isabella in all these fanzine publications, and he gave him a job as an editorial assistant in 1972 when Isabella was 21 at the time. So then he started writing for Marvel. He did Captain America, issue 168, 189, 190, and 191. And that was from 73 to 75. He did Ghost Rider 7 to 9, 11 to 15, and 17 to 19. And that was from 1974 to 75. Daredevil 119 to 123 in 1975. Avengers 145 and 146 in 1976. And then he did Black Goliath number 1, 1976. So he's like, hey, I created Black Goliath at Marvel. Let me just go to DC. Black Lightning. Black Lightning. That'll be something there we can do over there. He created Black Lightning, and he wrote issues 1 through 10 from 1977 to 78. Then, in 1995, he came back and did Black Lightning Volume 2, issues 1 through 8. And then in 2018, he did Black Lightning Cold Dead Hands, issues 1 through 6. So I guess that was like a limited series or something. He did all the issues of this Hawkman series here. And then in Hawkman Volume 2, that started in 86, he did issues 1 through 9 and special number 1. And perhaps my favorite credit that he has, in 1977, he did issue 3 of Welcome Back, Kotter. So
no way, really.
That's Tony Isabella. There you go.
Huh.
He didn't really have any long runs on anything at Marvel. He would do like a handful of issues, sporadic issues. And,
I noticed that too, yeah.
And at DC, his big thing was Black Lightning.
Right.
Was there anything else he was known for?
No, to be honest, because we had him as a guest at our convention, and I was kind of surprised that he didn't really have any long runs on anything. You're right.
Well, I guess besides Hawkman and Black Lightning, but
semi-long, yeah.
But
that's what he's most famous for, though, yeah.
Yeah, I guess 9 issues. That's a good run. 9 straight issues. It's a good run. What else was I going to say? Oh, he during the 80s, he owned a comic book store in Cleveland, Cosmic Comics.
Really?
So that's pretty cool.
That.
Yeah, I think that's what it was called, Cosmic Comics. Anything else about Tony Isabella?
No, he's a really entertaining person. If you ever want to look up interviews with him, he's one of the most entertaining guys to interview. So.
Yeah, I like Tony Isabella. I just don't like this issue, man. Nothing but exposition and illogical plots. That's about it. That's all it was. Yeah. It makes no sense. And Wolfie. What about Wolfie? For God's sake, somebody think of Wolfie.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to read the future issues just to see if anyone takes care of Wolfie. Because that's heartbreaking. All right.
The thing is, though, I gotta say, it's this Bronze Age style that I love. So even though the plotting is illogical, I still enjoy reading it.
All right, fair enough. Richard Howell is the artist here. He was born in 1955. He self-published his first work in comics. It was called Portia Prins of the Glamazons. And that was in 1977 when he was 22. And then in 1986, Eclipse Comics published, I don't know if this was a different version of that same title, or if it was actually the same stuff he did in 77, just reprinted. But yeah, Eclipse had six issues of Portia Prinz and the Glamazons in 1986. So you might want to look into that. He did All-Star Squadron. He did 7 issues of that from 83 to 86, but they're like spread out. He did Shadow War of Hawkman 1 through 4. Then he did Hawkman Volume 2, 1 through 16. So that's pretty good. And special number 1. Mm-hmm. And he might be most famous, Michael, for Vision and Scarlet Witch, the limited series. He did all 12 issues of that.
Oh, that's right. With
Steve Englehart in 85 and 86.
Yes. He's very, he's got a classic style, I think.
Yeah, it's very Silver Agey style, I would say. Right. There are some panels that look really nice, but they all kind of just look like still shots, not really like continuous action or flowy action. Right. Kind of like still photo. Still, it's hard to explain. And why, what do you think brings life to, if you look at classic Marvel stuff from Kirby, everything seemed to flow. It seemed to be alive. It seemed to be really.
Totally, yeah.
And then this always seems kind of flat and stiff. And.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think that's just a certain style of illustration that
But what do you think? What do you think makes it that way? Is it the? I think it's the posture of the figures. They seem to be very upright, and we've always talked a lot about how Kirby would twist the figure, like the torso and the hips. Right. And.
I think the guys like this, they probably learned illustration through just people standing, they probably learned to draw people standing around, and then they just adapted their style to superheroes, whereas Kirby is the one who figured out, how to make, like you said, figures twist around and look like they're popping out of the page, and then everyone imitated that for superheroes, but it's just, I don't know, it's just a different style, but I still really like it, though.
And he would go into great detail on the faces sometimes, and make them look realistic, but that can be a double-edged sword, because sometimes they look a little too real. I don't know.
Well, I should also point out that a lot of that detail is actually the inker Alfredo Alcala. I don't know if we're going to talk about him, but he's
I don't know anything about him.
He's one of the most overpowering inkers in the industry at this time, and so he could ink anyone, and it would make it look like Alfredo Alcala. He actually, I think he inked Todd McFarlane on Batman Year 2, and Todd McFarlane hated it because it didn't look anything like Todd McFarlane. So. Yeah,
maybe that's another reason why this stuff came off looking stiff and flat. Could
be.
Because he was even doing that thatch work stuff in the background that was kind of all the rage. Right. And but I just know from when I read the Scarlet Witch and Vision limited series, I wasn't a huge fan of his work there either. I thought it was kind of I mean, it's fine. It's not terrible. It's fine, but it's just not dynamic or
right
exciting. So anyway, anything else about any other times where he called you an asshole, or is it just that one time?
I don't think he used the word asshole. I think he just implied that I was an asshole, and basically implied that I was stupid. Anyway. But I don't know. I think that Richard Howell is fine, but Alfredo Alcala, he's the one that elevates this art, and all that texture and detail you talked about, that's what makes me really love it. So I do like this art. I think it's good.
Yeah, there were I'm trying to think of some particularly nice panels, if there were any. I don't know. The close-up of what's his name, Captain Fraser. Yeah, Captain Fraser. Yeah.
Yeah, all that.
That turtleneck really came to life.
Yeah. And then the exposition when they're flashing back to Thanagar, and him proposing to Shiera, and the waterfall in the background, that's a really good page. I don't know. I like this.
I thought the women looked pretty good. Yeah.
Right.
Mavis Trent looked good. And so, I don't know. All right. So there it is, Shadow War of Hawkman. Will you go back and read the rest of it now, Michael?
Well, it's funny, because I already have read it, and now I kind of want to read it again. So I'm going to say, I will reread it. I do like it. That's what I mean. It's the vibe. It's got the vibe,
See, I don't like the vibe.
Have a vibe.
Let me know what happens to Wolfie. Let me know if he survives.
Okay, I'll let you know.
All right, I appreciate that.
All right.
Anything else to say about this, or?
Only that, this is, upon my reread of 2005, this is one of the many comics that made me reappreciate Bronze Age DC.
Huh.
And I told Tony Isabella that when I met her. I thought, the writing here was great, so. I mean, like we said, it is illogical, but it's like watching a good Saturday morning cartoon. That's how I see it.
All right. I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give it a 4. I think that's as high as I can go. Closer to a 3 than a 5. Let's put it that way. But,
I give it a 6.
All right.
And like I said, even though there's flaws, I definitely enjoyed it, and I'd read it again. So that's
I did not enjoy it. I don't really like the characters either. They just seem so stiff and stilted. I don't know, coming from other planets. I'll be honest, Mike. I don't really like things centered around aliens. And 2 exceptions with alien characters: Silver Surfer and Alf. Those are the only 2 I kind of really like about aliens.
I like aliens.
Yeah, it's just not my thing.
It's because you're xenophobic, Mike Dell. That's why.
That's right. Well, I love Alf.
Yep.
I like
you got me.
Thanos. Right. Thanos is cool.
Okay.
But yeah. So all right, there it is. Shadow War of Hawkman. Let's hopefully never read that again. All right. So next week, Michael, we're gonna go with another. I like to be hip with the kids. I like to see what's trending in the world. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you heard, but there's this show on Disney Plus called Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes, of course.
So I figured we'll keep the winged superhero. Yeah, if you want to guess, you can. I mean,
is it the Falcon miniseries?
Yep, we're gonna go to the Falcon miniseries. We're gonna go with issue number 3 of the Falcon miniseries.
So I have to read 1 and 2 and 4 anyway. Okay.
Well, you don't have to, but we're gonna go with issue 3. I picked issue 3. The writer here is Jim Owsley. The artist is Mark Bright. This is a bizarre limited series. We'll talk about it next week, but it seems to be all over the place.
Really?
Because in issue 2, he's fighting a Sentinel. Issue 3, he's fighting Electro. I don't know what's going on. It's kind of crazy.
I've never read this, so I'm actually really looking forward to this. This is cool.
Issue 1 was drawn by Paul Smith, my beloved Paul Smith, who...
but he didn't do the whole series?
No, he just did issue 1.
That's really weird.
And I was going to pick that one, but it's from his early Paul Smith. It wasn't as good as his X-Men work, so I'd rather pick something else to highlight his work. But yeah, so this is Falcon issue 3 from 1984. It's a 4-issue limited series.
Awesome, looking forward to it.
Do you know a lot about the Falcon's backstory in history and in the books? Because
not much, no.
Yeah, neither did I, and I started researching. Fascinating stuff.
Really?
Like, do you know, just for instance, here's a teaser for next week. He didn't always have wings. Seems odd. He didn't always have wings.
I did not know that. I did not
know that. A large chunk of his early career, no wings.
I know that his original costume was green and orange, right?
That's right. Yep. I did not know that until I started reading this. So, all right, well, I'll talk all about it next week. Falcon.
Awesome. All right, well, if you want to find more episodes of Flea Market Fantasy, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, under Comic Book Syndicate. You can also follow the Syndicate on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and the Comic Book Syndicate website. Every week we review a different Bronze Age comic. 1 week I pick, 1 week Mike Dell picks. So, until next Tuesday, disperse!